Making forced contact.
It's not going to be a delayed wake up.
Simon, runes. Simon, runes. Simon, runes. Wait a minute. Where's Chris?
Oh no, the meter.
What's he doing a show?
Should be the start of things. No?
He's watching EVO.
I'm
doing what? Get over here.
But it's EVO.
Show.
Simon, runes being annoying. Coming in and out.
Yeah, well, okay, alright. What are we doing? The show?
Yeah.
I mean, the show.
It is time.
Oh.
It is timing.
Welcome to PrinnyCast Roundtable, a casual weekly show where we talk about what we've been up to and the various gaming-related stuff from over the last week. EVO's on right now. It is. I was watching it, but I guess no. I'm Chris, by the way, and I was watching EVO. This is Grover.
Titan runes!
And this is Mike.
Hello.
They weren't watching EVO. And this is Etna. She's chatting with us through text messages over there. You'll see a lot of trailers from the games that are supposed to be coming out one platform or the other that's either this week or the last week, because we're kind of making up the show for the... Oh, man.
That was my phone.
Trying to make up the show for the last 2 weeks since we took a little time off there. So a little bit of bundle game trailers for some extra footage in there. So yeah, lots of catching up to do for the first 2 weeks of July, and we're going to start that right off by what we've been playing this week. How about you, Mike?
Mostly been playing Hearthstone. A lot of that. I also played all the way through Shovel Knight, and I'm working on a new Game Plus for it right now. Not as we speak right now, but you know.
Gotcha.
I played a little bit of Guacamelee, enough to... that's something that aggravated me, actually.
Uh-oh.
I bought it on the Steam sale. And after the Steam sale ended, it became the free game for Xbox Live. So now I have it twice.
Oh.
That's okay, though, because if I ever get rid of Xbox Live, then I don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
Because it was on Xbox One, so at least I do have it for Steam, just in case. But other than that, just the obligatory WoW, and I can't honestly think of anything else I've really played. Just did play some more Mario Kart.
Wahoo!
That's really it. Shovel Knight took up a lot of time for me. It's very Mega Man-like, a mix between Mega Man and the side-scrolling bits of Zelda 2. For being a brand new game, it really gives you that feeling of nostalgia, even though it's brand new, because it feels like it's something that could have been made for the Super Nintendo by, an actual big name publisher. But yeah, the only other game, and I can't believe I forgot to mention this because I thought it was so great, Battle Block Theater.
Now you did mention you were playing it a little bit before our break.
Did I? Okay. I continued to. I went back and A double plus the very first entire area of the game, that first chapter. So I'm working on the second one right now. I haven't actually beaten it because I really want to A double plus the levels before I do for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, because you can probably go back and A double plus everything after you beat it, just like me.
Yeah, I'm probably afraid that if I actually beat the game, I won't go back and do it. So
that's true. That completionist mentality kind of sinking in there.
Well, I played over the 2 weeks I played Banished, and I got kind of bored with that, so I stopped. Then I played more Sims 3. My niece got on Sims 3 and deleted my legacy by accident.
No.
So, luckily I had a backup save, so I went ahead and put them in a new town and still stuck on Generation 3. And yeah, nothing really interesting going on with that. Same as always. All the Sims trying to kill themselves constantly. It's gotten to the point that I have everything. I mean, they have so much money that I have everything in the house, and then I had to start deleting stuff because the Sims start obsessing over one thing, and they'll never leave it alone. And the Sim kids started doing this stuff where they pretend to be king and they climb on the damn chairs and do this annoying thing that I cannot make them stop without deleting all the chairs. Which I did. I deleted all the chairs and everybody eats on the couch now because I couldn't handle it anymore, which they've now decided to jump on the couch and pretend they're race drivers, which is far less annoying. Then 2.3 came out at the beginning of the week for Final Fantasy 14, and holy crap, that added a lot of stuff. And then I got cracked out on Titan. And as Chris knows, I've been playing that just as much as Final Fantasy right now, which I've actually had it running in the background while I'm playing Final Fantasy, so I'm playing 2 MMOs at the same time. Literally. But yeah, like Chris has said, I'm not exactly sure what drove me to start playing. Well, actually, I've been playing it. I've been coming in and watching people chat and stuff, because I was bored. But then I actually started playing it again and, advancing forward. And for some reason, I just started going nuts over the game. And it has to be the power level. The power level is something that I can advance on that drives me to go further.
But it's such a broken game.
Oh yes, it is. So wacky. Like it was last night that the inventory went nuts and I had to restart the game. And when I started the game, all the inventory had doubles. I had 2 of everything. So I sold all the extra stuff, which was just like, okay, that was kind of weird. And I've had it happen again where I would just get stuff out of nowhere. Plus, when I reached level 40, I got the rewards for level 40 and the rewards for level 50 at the same time for some weird reason. But level 50 still says it's locked.
I'm hoping that actually gave it to you. Sometimes they'll tell you they give you something, then they'll take it back.
Oh, it did. Well, If it doesn't, then I'm going to be negative gems because I spent all those real fast. Yeah. There were fun things. Like today I did the last hit on a boss and got like, 10 million coins. I went to go to the bathroom, come back, and it says I beat the boss. I'm like, oh, okay.
That was the world boss.
0.07% damage against. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, everybody knows that I'm still playing Tynan, so I got to see a lot of you in the last couple of days. And then the usual congregate stuff, one of which included another cookie clicker knockoff, so half the time it's just sitting on the background of my computer anyway. But meanwhile, a whole bunch of short spurts of gaming since we had all this time off, so got back into Windforge a little more, which I'm pretty sure I've mentioned before, with the airships and the floating whales and the Terraria kind of gameplay, which I noticed it's on the Humble Bundle this week, so if anybody wants to check it out for $1 and get a bunch of other games with it, go for it. It is kind of a broken game, but I think a lot of people will actually enjoy it. I haven't got back to it this week, but I played it quite a bit that first week. And Grover, as you guys know, got me banished, so I got quite a few hours on it, but I haven't quite got the grasp of its dynamics yet. It's you never get quite the same thing twice out of an item, so you can't, in a lot of games, okay, you build your food stuff over here, you expect it to have that same amount of food coming in every time. No, it doesn't work that way here.
Some years it's really good, and some years it's terrible.
It's a lot more realistic in that effect, but it makes it a way more harder because you never know what you're going to have month to month. But also played a little bit of Zack Zero and 8-Bit Boy, which are a couple of indie-developed platformers, and Barbarian, which is an interesting combination of a tower defense game and arcadey survival games that are all over the place. You know, those type where you have a single map and you kind of wander around and all the stuff's coming to kill you. Kind of Smash TV, if you want to go back to the old days.
Smash
and then
TV.
Critical Mass, which is a block puzzle game where you kind of spin this Rubik's Cube of blocks and you have to match them all together. I usually don't care for a lot of puzzle games, but it was something different. It was really quick to download on my Steam, so it was
you know what that game reminded me of? I immediately started thinking of Tetrisphere.
Yep.
That's all I could think of when I was watching it.
Easy to play, so yeah, I kind of jumped down there a little bit. And of course, I've been working on my pet project RPG, but not quite as much progress as I was hoping to continue to make. But a lot of that is because I'm fleshing out characters and figuring out how to implement them and all the story stuff. And organizing art assets takes a way long time when you're doing a lot of custom stuff. So it's made progress, but it's a slow process. One of the coolest things that I added this particular week was that, as I've mentioned before, my equipment are the crew members. So your ships is technically the hero, and your crew members are the equipment you equip to that ship. So I now have a device that's basically the same thing as like Diablo's socketing, really. Well, I guess everybody uses it now. Instead of having axes and armors and stuff like that, you're having helmsmen and engineers.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen anybody do that before, and I'm kind of excited about that. I've never seen an RPG done this way before.
That is interesting. I've never heard of that done that way either.
All of you armchair developers out there, grab this idea and run with it, right?
No!
Rob Chris Blind.
Oh, well. And I guess that's really all I've been up to. So, we're going to go ahead and jump into the game news topic, because I think I've mentioned somewhere that EVO is going on right now, and I really don't want to miss it, so instead of doing all the work that it usually takes to put together an animated game news, and it's not, maybe I am just getting lazy, because we're doing it less and less, I know, but for now, I've got to make things work somehow, and this is how. So we're just going to throw in our game news for basically July 1st to July 11th, maybe a little bit before July, because I think we were still in June when we had the last show. Yeah, June. So
still the quiet after E3.
Since this is EVO related, I'll go ahead and start with it. Some wonderful news for EVO that I will definitely be back to watching as soon as we're done recording here. Nintendo is completely on board with Super Smash Bros. Matches at the Super Bowl of fighting games this year, because it's even a sponsor. It is an official sponsor of EVO. They went that far. So thank you guys. Thank you. And here's to a new Smash Bros. At EVO next year.
Remarkable turnaround considering what their previous stance was.
Last year was quite the mess, and especially because of the situation where Smash Bros. Was voted in by people who donated money to cancer, and they still almost shut it down. So
Thank you, Nintendo, for getting your heads out of your asses.
You know how, maybe you don't know, but in Warcraft they have titles and stuff. Whatever your character's name is, the blah blah blah, like the Flamekeeper or whatever. I always picture that if Grover played, he would be Grover the soft-spoken.
So what you got for us, Mike?
I have for you some Pokemon news.
Ooh.
There is a brand new hub on iTunes dedicated to the franchise as a one-stop destination. You can get the Pokédex itself, you can get episodes from the shows, you can get music, and much more. They're all available now. It's up and running, so have at it. Don't use too much of your credit card monies on Pokemons, because we know how that goes.
Yeah, we got a new Pokemon game coming out, even if it's a remake, so save your money for that.
Remake, whatever. Meanwhile, prepare for a live orchestral concert with Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions, which is coming this August, featuring music from all over the series' lifetime, from the original series on to the more present Pokemon X and Y. The tour will begin in Washington, D.C. on August 15th and will continue to more locations that have not been announced yet. You can go to PokemonSymphony.com for details and tickets to the show. And if it's anywhere in Louisiana or anywhere near Louisiana, I will probably be taking Sydney to go. So
they've already announced the second one will be in Philadelphia in about the middle of September. I do not know how many shows they're going to have, but it sounds like it's staying pretty much to the east. So
yeah,
you never know.
I was afraid of that, but that's all right.
You might remember that a few months ago, when GameSpy shut down, so did its servers to a ton of multiplayer games. Well, a group of developers and modders have come together to create the Revora network, where you can play most of the latter Command & Conquer titles online through their website at cnc-online.net. That's awesome.
And hopefully they have EA support for this too, and not something that's going to get shut down later.
Losing multiplayer for any game these days is never a good thing.
Somewhat relatedly...
Sorry.
As most of its players will know, last week Age of Empires Online went offline after being launched in 2011. All is not lost for those wanting cheap, tiny versions of the old RTS classics. Microsoft is releasing Age of Empires World Domination for mobile very soon. It will be free to play.
We'll put the free to play in quotes. We've learned our lesson.
Quote, free to play. Maybe, possibly. Who knows?
And Mike, some new news from one of our old friends.
Yes. I have a multi-part story for Mighty Number 9. Those of you that kept up, which is probably everyone that's interested in the Mega Man series at all, might remember that the Kickstarter for the game smashed through its goals and breached $3.5 million. That's two big announcements regarding the game were made simultaneously. Firstly, on the game itself, a second funding campaign has been launched to add some bonus content to the game that was not included in the original Kickstarter campaign. It's important to note here that none of the original funds are going to this content. All of the funds from the original campaign will be used to make the game in its current state with all of the promised features and content of that campaign, and none of the first campaign's exclusive backer content like the forum stuff and exclusive Beck skins for the actual game itself. None of that stuff is going to be rewarded to anyone funding the second Kickstarter. In the announcement, it was stated that this was largely a response to what they called slacker backers that contacted Concept after the Kickstarter ended, wanting to know if they could still help fund the game. So, second bit of news though, regarding Mighty Number 9, going to be an animated series. Digital Frontier themselves actually approached Concept and showed interest in turning the as-yet unreleased game into an animated series. Again, those of you that funded the game's Kickstarter and are starting to worry that your funds are going to this project as well, don't be. None of the game's campaign funds have gone to the animated series at all. Now, the targeted audience is for kids age 6 to 11, so keep that in mind when you watch the trailer. And that's all I've got on it. What is this cat doing?
Being a cool cat, yo.
She is going absolutely crazy. Do you hear her?
Yeah. Every now and then.
Nuts.
Wow. Speaking of Kickstarter, we have great success stories like LeVar Burton getting over $5 million plus to revive Reading Rainbow to restore faith in humanity, only to have a guy currently having over $47,000 to fund his potato salad bring it right back down. But
Oh.
in his defense, it was not his idea for it to get this exploded. That was a media outburst sort of thing that helped advertise for him.
I'm quite pleased about the Reading Rainbow.
Yes, me too.
Very pleased. They hit their maximum goal. They'll be putting it all over the place.
It'll be everywhere.
Along those 5,600 schools.
All cool stuff. And Mike,
Very
you
nice.
had a little more news for us.
Rob Pardo has been part of the Blizzard team for over 17 years, and he's even been featured in Times Magazine's 100 Most Influential People because of his role in the company. But this year, he's hanging it all up in temporary retirement. He has not divulged his future plans because he has none. He just wants to spend time with his family and to catch up on his gaming, which he hasn't been able to do as much as he wanted to do while working at Blizzard. Keeps you busy, man. Keeps you busy.
And I'm sure he's rolling in a bit of dough since Blizzard is not exactly a company that's been having hard times.
And no doubt.
When hard times is, oh no, we've only got 9 million people playing our game now. You're doing okay. And for some rapid fire of stories that are more for the snarks than anything else, starting with Atari, or what's considered to be Atari these days, is continuing their comeback plans with a partnership with Denny's, where they've made 3 parody games based on their classic Atari arcade titles of the 1980s, mishmashed with some Denny's takeout food called Centipop, Takeout, and Hashtaroids.
What the hell's wrong with you, Atari?
And controversial rock star of video games Cliff Bleszinski is coming out of retirement, to no one's surprise. Anyway, he's working on a new title called Project Blue Streak that it seems like all the media outlets are more than eager to tell us any little snippets about every few minutes, so I don't understand the obsession with Cliff Bleszinski.
Stay happy if you stay retired.
I'm just confused. And speaking of confused, lastly, Sharknado, the video game, is a thing. It's a mobile game in the vein of the popular runner games where you move between and interact with lanes to avoid dangers. So, yeah, that was Game News 15. You'll find some of this stuff in the links below. But, yeah, for all in all, it's kind of crazy weeks.
Crazy.
Crazy.
And we've got 2 more weeks to go before my vacation, so I don't know what we're going to do for that particular week. Maybe we can nudge the guys into uploading something in the meantime, but...
How does this computer thing work? What does this button do?
No, not the red button!
How do you download things up to the cloud?
How do you computer?
Surfing the superhighway on a internet.
How do I put the internet onto my computer so I don't have to plug into this little device that has all these lights flashing?
Modem to what? That's what I want to know. Where do you get the rest of the dims? And for more lovely banter,
so
you can
terrible.
follow us on Twitter at PrinnyCast. Actually, we don't really say a whole lot on there. Need to say more. I'm sorry. And you can also contact us with email at PrinnyCast@gmail.com. And you can hear vehicles possibly going by in the background.
Yes.
Is that what that is?
That was a big old truck. So yeah, we'll see you all next time on PrinnyCast.
See you next time.
Later, dudes.